Good day, my name is Joshua Flynn, and my YouTube presentation is on alcohol and its effects on muscle recovery in the college-age athletic male. Now, alcohol consumption is a common pastime for many adults as well as college athletes and students, and I'm sure that many of us are aware of the negative effects it has on the human body, such as slurred speech, the inability to walk straight, and for some of us, making bad dating decisions at the club during closing time. But what is not clear is the effects alcohol have, and if there are any negative effects it has on the athlete after a strenuous workout. And that's what we're going to dive into today. Now, to make life easy for everyone, I have listed all the articles I'll be referencing in the YouTube description box below, and I will be referencing them in numerical order to make life easy for everyone. Now, if you're a college student at Sac State, you will be able to click on the hyperlink and read the article for free. Everyone else, well, you're out of luck. Try PubMed. Now, the very first article I would like to draw your attention to is on rehydration and alcohol. Basically what they did is they took 11 healthy males around the age of 24 and had them exercise on a cycle ergometer for about 45 minutes at 60% of their maximal power output until mild dehydration occurred. So basically about 1% of loss in body mass. And then after the exercise, what they did in random order, they had them consume one of 5 drinks in an amount of equal to 100% of their sweat loss. Now those drinks were either water, an isotonic drink, a non-alcoholic beer, so 0%, a low alcoholic beer, so 2%, or a full strength beer, which is at flat 5%. And after the consumption, they had fluid balance was assessed up till 5 hours after the rehydration in all of their athletes. And what they found was that the net fluid balance was negative in all groups, which means that not a single group achieved rehydration. But what's interesting was that the group that consumed the full strength beer, the 5%, had the poorest fluid retention. They only had 21%, where compared to the isotonic group, their fluid retention was at 42%. So in short, this data revealed that regardless of what beverage was consumed, full rehydration was not achieved, and alcohol, full strength alcohol, is definitely not the answer. Then if we look at the second article, this article revolves alcohol and mTORC1 signaling in human muscle. In this article, they took 10 resistance-trained males and 9 resistance-trained females and had them complete 2 identical acute heavy resistance exercise trials. Basically what they did is they completed 6 sets of the Smith machine performing squats at 80% of their 1 rep max. And then afterwards they consumed either alcohol at 1 gram of alcohol per kilogram of the free fat mass, or a placebo on of artificially sweetened and caloric-free beverage. Now, before the exercise and 3 hours and 5 hours after the exercise, muscle tissue samples were obtained from the vastus lateralis to be analyzed for phosphorylated mTORC1. And they discovered that although resistance exercise did elicit similar mTORC1 signaling both in men and women, the alcoholic group showed a reduction in the phosphorylation of mTORC1 signaling pathway in only men. It didn't affect the women who consumed alcohol. And so this data led these professors to propose that the consumption of alcohol could potentially hamper the desired muscular adaptations to resistance exercise in men by reducing the anabolic signaling of mTORC1. And if you thought that was interesting, the third article deals with myofibrillar protein synthesis. And what they did is they took 8 physically active males and had them complete 3 experimental trials comprising resistance exercise. So they did 8 by 5 reps of leg extensions at 80% of their 1 rep max. And then they followed it up with 30 minutes of high intensity interval cycling. Fun. And then immediately, and 4 hours post the exercise, they had all their subjects consume either 500 milliliters of whey protein, which came to 25 grams of protein, or they consumed an alcoholic beverage, which is about 1.5 grams per kilogram of body mass, which came to 12 standard drinks. But they had them consume the alcohol with either protein, or they consumed the alcohol with carbohydrate, which came to about 25 grams of maltodextrin. And then all the subjects, regardless if they had alcohol or not, 2 hours after the exercise, they made them consume a post-exercise meal, which came to about 1.5 grams of carbohydrate per kilogram of body mass. And then muscle biopsies were taken at rest, at the 2-hour mark, and at the 8-hour mark after the exercise. And what those biopsies revealed were that the phosphorylation of mTOR 2 hours after exercise was higher with protein compared to the two alcoholic groups. Also, it revealed that there was a hierarchical reduction in myofibrillar protein synthesis with the alcohol protein group. They had a 24% reduction, and the alcohol carbohydrate group had a 37% reduction compared to just the protein group alone. Now, this showed that despite the optimal nutrient provision, alcohol still impaired the response of myofibrillar protein synthesis in exercise recovery in human skeletal muscle. So don't drink alcohol after a heavy workout. Now, the articles 4 and 5, they're done by the same man, Matthew Barnes. He performed the exact same exercise trial experiment in 2010 and then repeated it in 2011. The only difference is that in 2010, he had his test subjects consume 1 gram per kilogram of body mass in alcohol. And in 2011, instead of 1 gram, it was 0.5 grams. That's the only difference. Other than that, everything remained the same, and obviously he had different test subjects. So with that in mind, he basically took 10 healthy males and had them perform 300 maximal eccentric contractions of the quadricep muscles of one leg on an isokinetic dynamometer machine. Afterwards, then they either consumed the alcohol or they consumed a non-alcoholic beverage, which was orange juice. So those who had alcohol, it was vodka and OJ, and those who didn't consume alcohol, it was just OJ. And then 2 weeks later, he had those subjects perform the exact same exercise on the contralateral leg, which they then consumed the other beverage, the opposite one of it they didn't have. And now he conducted before the exercise, and then 36 and 60 hours after the exercise, he conducted measurements of peak and average peak isokinetic and isometric torque that was produced by the quadriceps of both exercising and non-exercising legs. And his data revealed that the performance of the non-exercising leg did not change significantly, but average peak torque loss was significantly greater after 36 hours in the moderate alcoholic group, the 1 gram per kilogram of body mass. That group had a decrease in performance by 40, 42, and 44% compared to just the orange juice group, who only lost 28, 31, and 25%. Thus, his data revealed that moderate alcohol caused a magnified loss of force associated with the strenuous eccentric exercise and magnified the severity of skeletal muscle injury. This led to a delay in recovery of strength over a 24-hour period. Now, however, the group that consumed the low amount of alcohol back in 2011, when he repeated the exercise and only had them take 0.5 grams, his data revealed that the low amount of alcohol had no negative effects. Their reduction in force was very, very similar to the non-alcoholic group, so it was perfectly fine. So what these articles revealed, and just to do a quick recap, was the articles showed to all of us that alcohol was not a sufficient source for rehydration, that the consumption of alcohol could potentially hamper the desired muscular adaptations to resistance exercise in men by reducing the anabolic signaling of mTORC1, and that despite the optimal nutrient provided, a good meal, alcohol still caused a negative response of myofibrillar protein synthesis in exercise recovery in human skeletal muscle. And we saw that low amount of alcohol had no negative effect on recovery, muscular strength, and force, but moderate amount did. Now, to make life easy for all of you, if you are interested in learning more, or if you want to save time and not want to read all the articles I've mentioned, I highly recommend reading the very last article listed down there. Article 6 is also by Matthew Barnes, and this is all of his research he's conducted over the years, and has put it in one paper. And in that article, he covers rehydration, glycogen resynthesis, muscle recovery, increase in anti-inflammatory response, the negative effect on the endocrine system, and alcohol's negative impact on type 2 muscle fibers. So I highly recommend reading that. And for those of you that have any questions for me, by all means, please list them down below, and I will do my best to answer them as efficiently as possible. Have a good day and enjoy your drink.